The 2021 ARCA Series season has officially begun at the Daytona International Speedway. We've got all the details for you right now. Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the ARCA Series Rewind Show right here on Racing News Now. As always, I'm your host, Garth Allen. Thank you once again for joining me today. If this is your first time catching a Racing News Now video, consider going down below to hit that subscribe button. It is free to do. The quicker we get to 1,000 subscribers, the quicker YouTube will let us do mobile live streaming, which will greatly improve both the quality and quantity of coverage we're able to give you when we are at the track this season. Alright, so let's talk about the season opener for the main ARCA Series, which happened earlier today at the Daytona International Speedway. The Lucas Oil 200. 80 laps, 200 miles around the Daytona International Speedway, a touch into overtime, and we'll talk about the interestingness that was overtime when we get to that point. So as usual, let's start off with the caution report for the day. 4 caution flags for a total of 31 laps. They started early, lap number 11. Thad Moffitt trying to thread the needle between Rich Bickle, yes, you heard me right, Rich Bickle, and Dave Mader III, trying to thread the needle between them going into turn 1. The hole closed up on him as he was already there. Mader and Bickle come together, and Moffitt spins to the inside into turn 1. That would be the first caution of the day. None of them had a lot of damage. All were able to continue from this accident. Then we went right back to caution on lap number 28 for a multi-car incident in turn number 4. This would be essentially the big one of the day. It was the biggest one of the day. I don't know that I'd necessarily call it a big one, but in terms of what we had today, this would be the big one, involving Gracie Trotter, Drew Dollar, Derek Griffith, Scott Melton, Nick Sanchez, and Greg Von Alst. It was triggered down into turn 3. Trotter got a shot from behind by Drew Dollar, which shoved her up into Derek Griffith, the leader at the time. Griffith couldn't hold on to it. He spins to the inside, tags Drew Dollar a little bit as he comes back up the track, and then really makes hard contact into the 35 of Greg Von Alst. Just chain reaction. Nick Sanchez and Scott Melton get involved as well. So big accident there. That would be the end of the day for multiple drivers. Trotter and Dollar were able to continue past this point. Everybody else, that was really the end of their day. Would not be the end of the troubles for the day for the 25 of Gracie Trotter, though. Competition caution on lap number 43. Essentially a break, I'm pretty sure, although it seemed a little weird timing for it, as well as the pit stop sequences weren't quite what I kind of expected for a break, so I'm not really sure what this competition caution was supposed to do in a sense, but it happened on lap 43 nonetheless. I'm not sure exactly what lap this was on because it didn't bring out a caution, but somewhere there shortly after the competition caution, Chuck Hires blows a right front tire, kept it in a straight line down the backstretch, although slid up the track into turn 3 as he tried to keep control of the car. Gracie Trotter trying to get around the outside of him. She was committed to it at this point. He slides all the way up to the wall. She runs into the back of him. Nobody really wrecks in this situation. Hires was able to get to pit road with the flat tire. Trotter, though, bashes in the nose of her car. She had to come down and get that fixed. Ended up multiple laps down, and that would be the end of her bid for a Daytona win today. Final caution of the day. We went pretty well green flag almost all the way to the end after the competition caution at lap number 43. We finally, though, had one more caution that set up overtime on lap number 76 as Scott Reeves spun off of turn 4, blew a right front tire, got into the wall hard on exit of turn number 4, and then spins it into the tri-oval grass on the front stretch. That would set up an overtime finish for the day with a 1-lap shootout. I gotta say, I'm not a huge fan of the 1-lap shootout green-white checker finish for ARCA. I think I understand where they're coming from with why they implemented this, but at the same time, why? What's the point? As long as it takes these cars to get up to speed, nothing happens in a lap. Nobody really had a chance to get to the leader there in that last lap. It just didn't seem like there was really a point in it. If you're just going to run 1 lap, just end the race under caution. It's not really going to change anything for 1 lap. 2 laps can make a difference. 1 lap, not really. It's not really going to do anything. Lap leaders on the day. Drew Dollar led the first 18 laps before relinquishing the lead to his teammate Gracie Trotter, who led for the next 8 circuits. Derek Griffith led 1 lap before getting in that incident where he got turned by Gracie from the lead. Derek Lancaster then led 5 laps after that as he assumed the lead from that point. Tanner Gray led 12 laps after the lap 32 caution. Corey Heim gained the lead on lap number 45 and never let go of it. Final 38 laps were led by the driver of the number 20 car. Corey Heim starts off his championship bid with a win at the Daytona International Speedway. Great solid win for Corey Heim to start the season. Huge win. What I have to imagine the biggest win of his career thus far. Huge to be able to win at Daytona, and a great way to start off a championship bid. On the final restart, he restarted on the outside. His teammate Drew Dollar on the inside. Dollar still had a little bit of damage there on the left front from that incident with Derek Griffith in the middle of the race. The bare bond was starting to come off. The hole was starting to open back up there on the left front. Really, that damage kind of acted like a parachute for him, so it really didn't seem like he was going to be able to make any kind of a charge for the win. So the Venturini teammates kind of formed up a strategy here. Heim gets the jump on the outside, gets down in front of Dollar, and Dollar pushed for all of his life, basically to the middle of the backstretch before he let off. They had built such a lead at that point for a one-lap shootout. Nobody was really able to get to him. Dollar jumped to the outside through the travel, but wasn't able to get enough of a run, and that is how Corey Heim came home with his second career ARCA Menards Series victory. Drew Dollar did come home in the second position, though. Brett Holmes, your defending ARCA Menards Series champion, came home in third. Ty Gibbs in fourth, starting his bid for a championship with a solid top 5 run as well. Kyle Sieg, with a great top 5 run on the day, comes home in the 5th position. Rest of your top 10, great run also for Derek Lancaster in 6th. Tanner Gray came home in 7th. Andy Jankowiak comes home in the 8th position. Jack Wood in 9th, and the 21 for GMS, and Sean Core rounds out the top 10. 11th through 20th, Jason Kitzmiller with a strong run there in the 11th position. Rich Bickle, after all of his difficulties on the day, came home with a solid 15th place finish. Tony Bradinger came home in the 18th position. 21st through 30th, Thad Moffitt, after his incident early, was never able to really recover from that. Came home in 21st, 2 laps off the pace. Gracie Trotter landed in 23rd, 4 laps down at the end of the race after her incident with Chuck Hires. Then Derek Griffith down there in the 30th spot would be where he would land after his crash in the middle of the race. Final page, 31st through 34th, Nick Sanchez starting his championship bid off in a bit of a hole there in 31st, and Brittany Zamora barely got anything happening in this race. Out at lap number 7 with mechanical issues and never really got a chance to showcase what she could do in this race. Shotgun on the field in the 34th position. So that's your results from the Lucas Oil 200. Of course, we'll have a Corey Heim interview coming up here within the next couple days or so, working out the logistics and the timing of that. Keep an eye out for that, though. If you're not already subscribed, you need to be, and turn those notifications on so you know exactly when we chat with Corey about this big win. So quickly on the point standings, not a lot to really look at here, as this is only the first of 20 races this season. A lot will change. 3 full-time drivers going for the championship this year. Corey Heim and Ty Gibbs, of course, starting off with great runs to start the season. Corey Heim, of course, with the win. Ty Gibbs in 4th. So they're still pretty close. They're starting off their championship bids the right way. Nick Sanchez, on the other hand, getting caught up in his accident with a 31st place finish, starting in a bit of a hole, and he's definitely got a hole to dig out of if he wants to contend for this championship. But it's only one race. Definitely, if he is able to put together a consistent, strong season, it will happen. He will be there by the end of the season for the championship. It'll be fun to watch to see if he is able to dig out of this hole. But I think that's just about to do it for us on this ARCA Rewind show. Good start to the season. Little lackluster, especially late in the race. Looked a lot like the Talladega race from last year, with about 5 or 6 cars getting out in a single file line and just running away from the field. If it hadn't been for that Scott Reeves accident late in the race, I think the finish to the race would have been a lot more tame than it even was, and that's saying something because it was a pretty tame end of the race as it was, with only a 1-lap shootout. So I think ARCA's got to do something with this super speedway package, because it's just not working. The last 2 super speedway races, Daytona and Talladega, have just been, there's not been much to watch. There was a little bit going on early in this race, but after things settled in there 30, 40 laps into the race, there wasn't much happening. And once you got those those real fast cars, the 5, 6, 7 cars that were the truly competitive cars that hadn't gotten caught up in an accident already, once you got them lined up and running away from the field, that was it. There wasn't really anything happening. I think ARCA's got to do something with this package. There's got to be somewhere in here that we can get a good racing package on super speedways. They've got good racing packages in all the top 3 series. Why can't ARCA get one? So something's got to be done here about this. I doubt it will be done in time for the Talladega race here in a couple months, which does not give me high hopes for what we're going to see in that race, but maybe something can be done to tweak some things and make for a better race there at Talladega, hopefully. But next ARCA race will be ARCA East at Pensacola, coming up here in a couple of weeks from today. Five Flags Speedway. That'll be race number 2 for the ARCA Menard Series East season. Next main ARCA race comes up in March at Phoenix. We got a little bit of a break here, but that will be a combo race as the first race for the ARCA Menard Series West. So we got some things happening with ARCA here over the next couple of months before things get really busy as we get into May. As always, we want to thank our Patreon supporter, Regional Manager William Holmes. Thank you as always for your support. It is greatly appreciated. If you would like to be a patron of RNN, the link is down below in the description, patreon.com/racingnewsnow. But I believe that's going to about do it for this week's ARCA Menard Series Rewind show. As always, I'm Garth Allen for Racing News Now.